mission and vision to really provide. And we want to grow with the developer ecosystem in India.
You know, I have to tell you one thing. मुझे लगता है मतलब with this passion you'll jump right there and start speaking. Like, I feel it. And we all feel it here in the room that it really comes from heart. It comes from being an Indian, which I know you are very, very proud. But I also want to bring back, and this for everyone before we get into Krutrim, is, as you know, Bhavesh, you also were a developer. You are from IIT Bombay and you joined Microsoft and you have certain patents and all also. Yes. So you are like a hardcore developer, techie person. And from there on, of course, Ola happened and now Krutrim is happening. And this is for everyone who's developer or trying to build, and not your entrepreneurship hat, but I would ask your tech hat, techie, tech soul hat, is क्या-क्या सही किया to be able to make these significant jumps? Because I know tech is at the core of whatever you do.
देखिए technology का, the way technology evolves in the world, it is never static. It keeps evolving. जब मैंने अपना career शुरू किया 2008, I finished my bachelor's at IIT Bombay. I was a developer myself. I used to work at Microsoft Research, and then in the beginning, early days of Ola, also I was a developer. अभी 10 साल हो गए मेरे को development in depth किए हुए, but I really have that journey. I started off as a developer in my life. So what used to be technology a decade ago, basic, what we think of today as apps and all, were cutting edge technology then. Now today, the definition of technology is whatever modern tools give humanity improvement in productivity. And if we as a country over the next 2 decades have to become the best economy in the world, the largest economy in the world, we have to do it on the back of cutting edge technologies. We have to really become global experts in whatever 4 or 5 important technology paradigms are there for the future. Now, today it is not just basic app development and all, those are important still, but those have become the foundational layer. Now,
AI is a cutting edge theme. It's just starting off. It's just absolutely day zero in AI. AI's mathematical algorithms have to be evolved, the architectures have to be evolved, the infrastructure technologies have to be evolved. There's a lot of innovation ahead of us in AI. Abhi jo hum models use karte hain, these are just the basic day one models. Over the next decade, a lot of innovation will happen on the technology layer, on the product layer, and all of this we in India should do. There are other technology, there's a lot of convergence of technologies happening now. The way AI is interacting with robotics and automation, interacting with energy transition technologies, with biotechnologies. I mean, itna sara excitement hai aaj jo future build karna hai. If you are an expert in a certain technology and you can really build a multiple convergent technologies together into new products, the future is yours.
So I have a very quick question, like a basic question, is that if I had to, as a developer, be ready and be ahead in this world, what are 1 or 2 habits that I should have? Like every day, like
You know, I think developers used to be very, and rightly so, very proud of their ability to code. I think with AI, that's going to become slightly, everybody is going to be a developer. And aaj agar desh mein 15, 20, 25 million developers hain, we should have an ambition कि यार अपने को देश में 100 million, 200 million तो देश में developer होने चाहिए. Because a developer's job is actually going to get easier for a large part of the job, because AI will actually help you do a lot of the job. Now the real habit is actually to be truly passionate about your consumer and your domain. अगर वो है तो development तो आपको productivity improve होएगी, but आपका जो vision है वो और that will guide it in the right way. See, AI is a machine. AI is not a human. The human will still need to guide it, to give it vision, to give it a certain value system. But the machine will do the grunt work.
Yeah. So Bhavesh, I want to now jump into Krutrim AI. Take us through the vision. Because last I met you, you were also showing me that you have a team which is making chips also. And I'm like...
Yes. So, yeah.
Yes.
So
tell us.
Krutrim, by the way, just as a quick poll, how many of you have heard of Krutrim before today's event? Not bad, huh? हमने एक भी रुपया marketing पे खर्च नहीं किया अभी तक. Good that the developer ecosystem is getting to know about Krutrim. See, like I said in my opening remarks, ना हमारा सपना, हमारा purpose बहुत simple है. हमें एक Indian Indian platform banana hai for the Indian developer community to really build global applications, right? So now what does that mean? We are going to build the full stack of the compute platform. And I use compute in a broad sense. So starting with the AI models. Our first model is public. You guys have, some of you would have used it on the Krutrim website or on the Ola app. Now, the first model was let's say, 7 billion odd parameter model, and it had a good functionality. But we are going to build many more models which are much more rooted in the Indian context. Useful for Indian users, useful for the Indian context, Indian data sets, Indian languages, etc. So, and Krutrim, the first model was a beginning in that direction, definitely not the end. We are working on multimodal models. We are working on voice models. We have voice models in testing inside the company. We are working on certain vision-based models also. You will see a demo in our booth if you go over there. So that's the model, our own models, Krutrim's own models, and we will build the best-in-class models relevant for Indian users and Indian developers. Then comes the cloud layer, cloud and the data center layer. Now, one of the biggest, I would say, जैसे हम जब पढ़ते थे temples of modern India, right? वो dams and all, Jawaharlal Nehru ji ने कहा था. Now, I believe the most important infrastructure, physical infrastructure of the future is the data center. And the data center itself is changing phenomenally with this AI-first way of thinking. Past में data centers होते थे, अभी आप इंडिया में अगर देखेंगे, the typical data center size is 20 megawatt, 30 megawatt, 40, 50 megawatt at the higher end. अब US में data center बन रहे हैं gigawatt or maybe more. So now, because the person who asked the question about sustainability is a very fair question. Data centers today use a very large part of the electricity in the world. Now, globally, I think data centers use about 4 to 5% of electricity in the world. India में कम है अभी क्योंकि हमारा data बाहर store होता है, वो हमें India में लाना है. But there's a lot of innovation that needs to be done in energy management in a data center. And and I want to share this with you guys, we have been building our own technologies to do energy management to make the most efficient data centers in the world. And I am willing to compete with Google or Microsoft or whoever to say that we will do better than them. And my team will show you some demos today when after this chat, they will very briefly tell you about their things. So the data center and the cloud technologies is absolutely core. Just say, if I use a very crude analogy, the AI is the soul, but the data center and the silicon is the body, right? You need both. Right? You just can't have soulless bodies or bodiless souls, right? So हम AI भी बना रहे हैं, हम अपना cloud and data center technologies and infrastructure भी बना रहे हैं. And finally, but the most important, we are also designing our own silicon. Our silicon for both the GPU type workloads as well as the CPU or general purpose compute type workloads. And मैंने जब ये company हमने शुरू करी, Krutrim ने, my team is here, you should feel free to interact with them. हमें realize हुआ कि यार the world's largest talent density for semiconductor is actually outside of maybe the Bay Area is Bangalore. But nobody is working on an Indian chip. And उसमें problem उन talent की नहीं है. मेरे जो peer set है entrepreneurs की, उन्होंने उनको platform ही नहीं दिया है. Right? So हमें वो platform बनाना है ताकि एक successful business model, एक successful vision बन सके to build this full stack of compute in India. And ये चीज़ 2 साल पहले possible नहीं थी क्योंकि we cannot compete with the world on a technology of the past where they are the leaders. We have to compete with the world on technology of the future, which is AI. To use analogies, and आप सब बहुत well versed लोग हैं, चाइना ने यही किया है. चाइना ने हर न्यू EVs में हो जाए या लिथियम सेल में हो जाए या सेमीकंडक्टर में भी वो कर रहे हैं. They are just out competing the West on the technologies of the future. Now हम किसी से कम नहीं, जैसे श्रद्धा ने कहा था. So we have to do that. And this is Krutrim's overall ambition to build a full stack, a futuristic stack built on AI, which allows developers to create applications easier, faster, and cheaper. आज हम जो cloud cost pay करते हैं, आप सब का सबसे बड़ा cost cloud cost होगा, right? Yes or no? हाँ, वो cloud cost same है जो American developer pay कर रहा है. ये कहाँ का इंसाफ है? Right? क्या ये इंसाफ है? नहीं है ना? हाँ, तो आज हम उसको solve करेंगे.
Google
वाले audience में बैठे हैं, Google Mike, so my apologies to you.
You know, but I like this ambition because हम सब इस room में ambition है, and you represent that ambition. You are one of us who जो कि हम झुक के grow किए और हमेशा उधर देखे. मतलब हम and I always sitting next to you, I always think that क्यों नहीं होगा? Why? And you will make it happen. You are
The Indian developer community will make the future of compute in Bangalore. ये इसमें कोई शक ही नहीं है क्योंकि इंडियन डेवलपर कम्युनिटी की क्या वाइब्रेंसी आप देखिए, राइट? कितने लोग, एवरीबडी नीड्स अ बेटर प्लेटफॉर्म. पीपल नीड अ प्लेटफॉर्म व्हिच अलाउज देम टू मेक मनी इन द एंड. सारा प्रॉफिट यहाँ का फॉरेन डेटा सेंटर में पड़ा है. दैट्स ट्रू. कोई स्टार्टअप प्रॉफिट नहीं बनाता बिकॉज द बिगेस्ट कॉस्ट इज, एंड आई हैव गॉन थ्रू दिस जर्नी एज अ डेवलपर. मुझे पता है ये क्लाउड कॉस्ट कितनी महंगी होती है. Right? And the Indian developer community is young, it has the energy, it has the vision, it has the imagination, it has the innovation. It needs a platform.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. You know, I want to ask you this. That जैसे कि I feel very proud of UPI. हम सब proud feel करते हैं. Bangalore में तो I don't know how many of us carry cash. How many of you have cash in your wallet today? Cash, hardcore cash. बेशर्मो. How many of you?
वो कैश से क्या कर रहे हैं पता नहीं. बाकी सब जगह तो यूपीआई चलता है.
How many of you don't have cash today in this room? See, wow, me too actually. Yes. And this is the change which UPI and India Stack did. I want to understand from you that if India had to look at AI Stack and imagine our AI Stack as a country, what should it be? See,
AI में I think this is now broadly understood that the biggest value add in AI is data. The data and the infrastructure to train the data. The infrastructure, you need companies like us, Google, Amazon, etc. to build that infrastructure. It's a capex heavy business. But that's a factory. एक बार factory लग गई, factory के अंदर माल तो आना है ना, and असली product तो माल से बनता है. तो माल है data. Now, India is the most data rich country in the world. Not just because of our population, but because we're also more active country. Yes. So we generate more data through the day. Yes. Right? अब चाहे आप वो दुनिया की next कोई भी problem ले लो, healthcare. Where is the healthcare? My parents are doctors. I grew up in a doctor household, and when I think of what AI can do to healthcare, all the healthcare innovation, drug discovery happens in the West. But why can't we do that in India? We have all the data. If we can build a collaboration between Indian academia, Indian compute platforms like ourselves, developers and clinicians in healthcare, we will have the best healthcare research data in the world. अमेरिका में आपको healthcare data के लिए एक patient को $5,000 देना पड़ता है. Right? India में people understand the value of contributing to societal good, right? Versus only keeping individual proprietary ownership. Then any data आप ले लो, voice data ले लो. India is the land of languages. Now we have हमारी एक local language में actually ज़्यादा data है than English, but वो local languages का data digitized नहीं है. हमने जो कृत्रिम वाला अपना पहला model train किया, we had a big challenge in finding indic data, in finding indic tokens. हमने 70 साल के पुराने court records, magazines, newspapers को digitize किया पहले, libraries के कुछ books को digitize किया, and इसको अब हम more like a proper long-term crowdsourced campaign बनाना चाहते हैं. So now this is where we all have to contribute data, and the data ownership will not be mine. Data ownership will be the society's. That's what the beauty of UPI, ONDC is. The society contributes because the society owns.
Yeah, I'm slightly digressing. I met Mr. Koshi, and he said, ask Bhavish, he's a huge champion of ONDC. I said, okay. Because again, it's democratizing the access to everyone.
Yeah, so if you look at, I feel there's something magical happening with these, digital public infrastructure. And, thanks to one of the visionaries in India, Nandan, who really started the Aadhaar and then UPI, and then the whole, now it's gone beyond any single individual. Now, the beauty of this is, see, the digital paradigm that we all grew up in was the Western paradigm. Amazon ka apna fully closed ecosystem hai of marketplace, and Apple ka apna closed app store hai, Android, Google ka apna closed app store hai. This is the American way of doing things. Today we are in that paradigm. But within us, what we are realizing and what we are seeing is there's an Indian paradigm emerging. And the Indian paradigm is for societal good. You also have to have individual capital formation, entrepreneurs putting in capital, but the data and the individual data is all owned by the individual, but contributed for societal good, which is what UPI is, which is what ONDC is. You know, these are all very simply said unbundling of marketplaces or unbundling of large payment apps, etc. But the beauty is now everybody feels that they're a contributor into this open ecosystem.
Yeah, yeah. You know, in fact, I interviewed Dr. Jay Shankar, and one of the interesting things was that India was looked at COVID ke time pe 1.4 billion people, and how will you deliver vaccine? But digital delivery, he talks about that kya Arogya Setu app, and imagine all of us, I don't know how many, all of us would have used wo 2 time vaccine in such a large country was possible.
This is the India stack, no Shraddha?
Yeah.
And just to again take an inspiration from Minister Jaishankar, aap dekhiye, the original India stack, according to me, was the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Right? Uspe kisi ka IP nahi hai. Like every region has their own version of Ramayana and Mahabharata.
I can clap to that.
हाँ, वाल्मीकि ने उस पे पेटेंट नहीं लिया था.
Yes.
ना ही वेद व्यास ने उस पे पेटेंट लिया था. You know, this has been our parampara, that we contribute for society's good, right? And while we also earn fame, and we also, if it's a business, like somebody will have to put up the computing infrastructure. But there's a layer here which is true ownership of society.
Yeah, no. You know, I genuinely get very inspired. I got up at 3 a.m. today to take a 6 a.m. flight to do this chat, and I'm feeling it's worth it. Now, Bhavish, a question hoga. This is, I'm again asking a side question. If people want to work with you, with Krutrim team, because a lot of very talented developers would love to work with you, how can they do that? One. And second, are you also building a stack ki log apna startup build kar sakein?
Absolutely. So, आज कृत्रिम के पब्लिक स्टैक की शुरुआत है. So, you know, please partner with us to help us build this, right? And we are absolutely going to be always for the Indian developer first and foremost. So you will find what we are announcing today an early start. It is not going to be a feature complete start, but today my team will share with you more details. But we are going to launch our AI cloud infrastructure today, where any startup can start using it. आज सबसे बड़ी requirement लोगों को है कि AI chips ही नहीं मिल रहे train करने के लिए. So we will start with that, because we've built our own cloud infrastructure to train our models, and we want to start opening it up to everybody in the community. People can, use. We will layer by layer add many more services. Today we are also announcing a Maps API. A lot of startups here would be building some kind of local, hyper-local services. Now we are probably the largest Indian company which uses hyper-local services for both our consumer business mobility, as well as my electric vehicles use a lot of local services. So we are going to release that as an API to everybody. And in the, maybe I should not let the cat out of the bag, but there are very, very good credits to be availed today. But what they are, just wait for the announcement. So we are starting off today with a statement of intent. आप प्लीज उसको उस नजरिए से देखिएगा. It's a statement of intent. We have good announcements. Whatever we do, we will always be focused on the Indian developer.
Yeah. So I'm not taking the detailing, because we have presentation from Krutrim AI team, and they'll be making the announcement. I want to ask you, Bhavish, again for everyone in the room, like a deeper question. And NVIDIA's founder, I liked what he said 2 months back, and I'm assuming most of you would have heard that. 2 things he said: that if I had to start up again, I will never do that because it's genuinely very painful and full of suffering, very, very hard. So he said, I'm not going to start again. Of course, he doesn't need to start again. That's a separate thing now. But he said that he wouldn't be who he is if he hadn't gone through so much of pain and suffering. And I think in India we talk about that, but it was very refreshing for me to hear from Jenseng, the founder of NVIDIA. I want to ask you, so much of confidence. मतलब लगता है एकदम हीरो है बैठ के ये भी कर लेंगे ये भी, and you make it happen. I have seen you in the last 12 years. You have made things, 14 years, things happen. Now tell me, what are some of the genuinely unfiltered pain that you also go through and still have that resilience?
श्रद्धा, मेरे को लगता है हमारा पर्सपेक्टिव, हमारा मतलब हमारे देश का पर्सपेक्टिव स्टार्टिंग पे थोड़ा अलग है वेस्ट से. You know, ये जो narrative है, and all of us as, especially the developer ecosystem, and I've been a developer, we've been part of this, कि starting up is hard, and it is hard. But we don't do it because it is hard, right? You know, but the West need, if they suffer. हम काम करते हैं क्योंकि हम एक कर्मयोगी भाव से काम करते हैं, right? हमारे लिए एक हमारी मिशन है, हमारा विजन है, and we all, why are we working? Not for, obviously money is important, obviously fame is important, but fundamentally we are all karmyogis. We want to build, do our contribution towards our society's success. That's what and so if given a chance, I will start up again. Why not? You know, if I am fulfilling my inner purpose, why will I not do it again? Right? So I don't agree this suffering of, ठीक है, मुश्किल होती है, down periods आते हैं, up periods भी आते हैं, but you know, you don't get swayed by both extremes, right? You are doing it because it is what your inner self is calling you to do. And this is truly, you know, this is Indian philosophy. This is what हमारे पूर्वजों ने हमें सिखाया है.
Yeah, no, I agree. One habit that you follow every day which helps you to remain, you work in the office, you're notorious for that. I was telling you that the government guys are in the office round the clock and you would be competing with them also. So what's the one habit that keeps you resilient every day and energetic?
You know, I really sleep very well. I make sure I sleep 7-8 hours a day. Sometimes I'm late in the mornings, team आ जाती है पहले, बोलती है भविष्य तो आया ही नहीं आज, क्योंकि मैं सो रहा होता हूँ घर पे. Right? So I make sure I fulfill my sleep, I get up fresh, and then I'm ready to hit the office and road and get going.
Okay, and before we open to the audience, I also want to ask you is, if you had to say one thing that, and I'm again asking from a country standpoint, in terms of opportunities, जहाँ पे एक AI है, but वो क्या बड़ी opportunities हैं जो हम सबको pursue करना चाहिए, अगर हमें भी 3 unicorns banane. Like you are a guy who has 3 unicorns in this country. So tell us, what are some of the opportunities that we all should go after?
देखो, unicorn is, you know, media को अच्छा लगता है, unicorn and all of this. These badges are not relevant. I keep telling my team also, don't get swayed by valuation. हमें value creation करना है, valuation होता रहेगा, नहीं होएगा तो भी चलेगा. Right? The value creation is the more important thing. तो फ्यूचर में यू नो इंडिया में अब जब भी मैं दुनिया घूमता हूँ, आज यूएस जाता हूँ, चाइना जाता हूँ, यूरोप जाता हूँ, दुनिया में ना बहुत थकान है, इंडिया में जोश है, राइट? और वो जोश को हमें एज अ इकोसिस्टम डायरेक्ट करना है टुवर्ड्स बिल्डिंग द फ्यूचर. हमें इफ आई कैन से तो भविष्य बनाना है, राइट? के फ्यूचर बनाना है. हमें वो पुरानी टेक्नोलॉजीज पे काम नहीं करना है. इफ वी बिल्ड द फ्यूचर बेटर देन द अदर्स, वी विल, you know, like this, in a few years become world leaders, right? अब वो future multiple future technologies का है, AI technologies, semiconductor में technologies, space technologies, energy transition technologies, biotechnologies, you know, material sciences, इतना कुछ हो रहा है ना दुनिया में. And the paradigm of technology is not just limited now to the digital arena. The paradigm of cutting edge technologies, things which are really moving मानवता को आगे लेके जा रहे हैं, those are multiple kinds of technologies. And you know what, you know, many of us actually don't remember our history, but India was the leader in technology in the world. Not just leader in the economy, India was the global leader of technology.
Yes.
And we have to, in our generation, we can actually revive that by truly building future technologies.
No, I agree. The more we read history, we feel, where did we lose it?
आप जाइए किसी वो यू नो स्टील पिलर है लगा हुआ कुतुब मीनार के आगे, वो स्टील पिलर पता नहीं कब का लगा हुआ है, एंड उस पे वो मेटलर्जी की गई. आप हमारे साउथ के मंदिरों में देखिए जिस तरह से सिविल इंजीनियरिंग की गई है. देयर आर सो मेनी एग्जांपल्स लाइव इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस व्हिच वी डोंट सेलिब्रेट एज अ कंट्री ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी. कल्चर तो है ही, फिलॉसफी तो है ही, टेक्नोलॉजी.
Yes. And on that note, yes, you know, Bhavish, I have to say on behalf of all of us, very, very proud of you. You represent India of today, and may you go and win all this so that we you know, we have Krutrim AI, we have this story, and we have Mavish Agrawal. You know, I'm very, very proud. And we can continue our conversation, but my team has told me that, you know, मतलब Mavish के साथ बैठ के बस बात मत बनाते रहना बहुत ज़्यादा, क्योंकि we have a schedule. So with that, we will open for a few questions, please. Yes. Keep it short, keep it crisp.
Yeah, sure. This is Rohitesh here. I'm founder of an app called Society Mall. It's a new startup. And I literally don't have a question. I just came here to give you a feedback. Thank you so much for inspiring all of us. आपने literally wrong थे खड़े कर दिए हमारे. And अभी ऐसा moment आ गया कि it is literally, I mean, from the bottom of the heart, I feel like to say Bharat Mata ki jai. And I'm sure there'll be like a lot more people like me who got inspired and who got literally like charged up. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hi Bhavesh, myself Viru Gupta. I have a question for you regarding the sustainability in Ola. Like how Ola is focusing towards nuclear diamond batteries. Like
Towards what? Sorry, I didn't.
Towards nuclear diamond batteries, NDB, which without charging you can run it for 50 to 100 years. I know it's costly, but other competitors like Toyota and Ford already they are focusing on this. And my another question for you is like how big you want to see Krutrim as a PaaS application, you're focused towards as a PaaS or you're focused towards as a SaaS?
So let me answer the Krutrim question first. See, Krutrim is full stack. So we will do infra as a service, which is raw metal if need be, or bare metal, or even basic layers above it. We will do PaaS also, and we will do MaaS also. So on today you will see Krutrim, on our cloud you will be able to use our own model and also open source models. We will be the world's cheapest cloud provider of open source models to you today onwards. Yeah. And we will do SaaS also. We will have some of our own foundational applications, and then we will partner with the entire developer community. If you have a great application, we'll be happy to take it to market for you. So it's a full stack play. On the battery, see, the exciting thing is energy, which is a broader theme on which your question is, right? Till about 10-15 years ago, the paradigm in energy was आप petroleum या वो निकालते हो, mine करते हो, फिर उसको refine करते हो, फिर उसको फूक देते हो, right? You burn it away. That paradigm, it was a commodities paradigm. But today, energy has become a material science paradigm. आप lithium में innovation करो, आप sodium में innovation करो, hydrogen में innovation करो, आप what you mentioned, the nuclear focused, I have not gone deep into those technologies, but the basic principle is material science has become the anchor of value creation in the energy industry, which used to be thought of as a commodity industry, जो सिर्फ बड़े-बड़े लोग कर सकते हैं. Now, material sciences में छोटे-छोटे startup value create कर सकते हैं. And that's the beauty, and that's again where India has a very strong role to play, because we are an intellectual economy. We have a lot of talent, which we should actually direct towards creating value in these future technologies.
Yeah, thank you, Bhavesh. And you are the inspiration for us. Like today, I came to this event just to have communicate with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Nagesh from Cadwell and Fotech. First of all, I would like to say good luck to Bhavesh for Ola Krutrim. My question is like, what is your USP for Ola Krutrim, and what is your strategy, to compete with other AI?
Sorry? No, but very good question. I think as a developer also, you should know my differentiation. My differentiation is that I will be very sharply focused on the future. So my cloud, my interface with the cloud, aap sab, those of you who run on the cloud know how hard it is to manage the cloud. You know, वो जबरदस्ती उसको hard बनाते हैं कि आप बाहर ना निकल पाएं. आप एक बार ही घुस गए, आपको अपनी टोपोलॉजी का समझ नहीं आता है, आपको न्यू relic अलग से खरीदना पड़ता है, हाँ क्या ना? Right? How hard does it make for them to make a new relic? I don't, मुझे समझ नहीं आता. Right? मैं 10 साल से new relic का बड़ा bill pay कर रहा हूँ. And that's not it. Services are costly. So our proposition will be, we will be best in class in terms of services. AI first redesign of many of those services and the UI layer, low code, no code kind of ways of deployment, easy to manage, not locking you in unnecessarily, and really building a much lower cost solution because we'll be vertically integrated. Many clouds are not fully vertically integrated. Now my strategy, so this is my differentiation. My strategy is to focus on you. That's it. My strategy is to focus on the Indian developer. Let the others say if that is the same strategy for them. Right? वो बोल नहीं सकते, बोलेंगे तो झूठ, आपको सबको पता है वो झूठ है.
Okay, I have two questions. One is, I have made some survey. The adaptation of AI in India is not that much because people are staying with same conventional designs which they don't want to change because of they may feel there is a lot of risk involved and adopting AI is much above them because it's too mathematical or too much of code development, so my business will suffer if I adopt AI. So how will you change the mindset of people to adopt AI? So I saw one framework where several reasons are there, like 63% don't want to change, another 37% want to change to AI-based designs. So that is one question. How do we really bring more and more people to adopt AI?
So let me answer this question first, sir. It's an involved question. देखिए दो जवाब है मेरे, दो points है मेरे इसमें. एक तो आज जो whatever AI is being built for, the cost of AI is very high, and there are multiple reasons the cost of AI is high. All these large Western computing companies will make you believe, "Arey, AI is so hard to do, and it's only us who can do it." Please, हमारे वो OpenAI के CEO साहब आए थे, उन्होंने कहा था तुमसे ना हो पाएगा, right? कहा था कि नहीं कहा था? हाँ, कहा था ना? हम उसको जाके दिखाएंगे, भाई तुमसे ना हो पाएगा, right? Yeah, but the point is, look at the cost structure of AI today. All AI is trained or inferred on a NVIDIA chip. NVIDIA का gross margin है 90%, right? Those, yes or no? NVIDIA is in a Azure or AWS cloud or a GCP cloud. उनका gross margin है 70-80%, yes or no? उसके ऊपर Salesforce चल रहा है, right? Salesforce चल रहा है, SAP चल रहा है, कोई और चल रहा है, Microsoft का खुद का product चल रहा है. उस product का gross margin है 90-95%. तो ₹1 का माल हमें ये ₹100 में बेच रहे हैं, right? Now because we're going to build a full stack solution, we are going to really condense. We're going to condense these margins into a much smaller cost structure for you. So the first thing is we will make cost of AI cheaper. We will make AI more relevant for India through our Indic models. And thirdly, we will rely on you developers to truly find applications which consumers के लिए genuinely useful at the right cost structure. I think if these three things come together, and it will not happen overnight. I'm not going to promise you guys that today I have the perfect magic wand and it will solve everything. But we will make a start in that direction.
Okay, the second question is, see, recently our minister for the semiconductor industry, he was telling we need a lot of people who have semiconductor knowledge to contribute to India's chip making and semiconductor industry. Now all this semiconductor industry will adopt AI to build new models and new chips, including AI embedded hardware into this. So the problem is how to educate the Indian engineers or these to see that they contribute to this kind of
सर उसमें ना मैं आपको ground reality अगर बताऊं, मेरे पास we have built our own silicon team to make silicon and chips, and that team is in Bangalore, and वो team है यहाँ पे आज, वो आपको मिलेंगे भी in a presentation. And they were, they are entrepreneurs. They joined forces with us to really make a bigger vision come true. And the reality, sir, is Indian chip designers are the best in the world. And they understand the future is in AI chips. So they have self-learned. The basic foundational knowledge they have. And all the Indian semiconductor talent is actually learning, self-skilling themselves to build AI. So वो तो मेरे को groundswell दिख रहा है, bottoms up, कि लोगों को इस future में जाना है. Thank you.
The reference design
Okay,
should come from
now I will interfere, sorry. You know, itni lambi line hai, we don't have time, and his team also has to do the presentation also. So now quickly ask your questions, everyone.
Maybe we can have a question from some woman.
Yes, she's there.
Yeah, maybe ma'am, you want to come? Sorry, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, you can message me and I'll reply.
No, we'll take few questions. Wait, come, yes.
Hi, I'm Tejaswini. I'm a founder of a company called LearnMeGo. So we are creating personalized AI tutor, and we want to democratize a good teacher for everyone in India. And so presently we are using OpenAI as a stack, and we are using Google Cloud as our cloud provider. But we want to shift because the monetization is kind of tricky right now. So we wanted to shift to better Indic languages, and that's why I'm like very interested to understand how Ola Krutrim can help me. But right now I don't, even if I have to want to shift. So is it like a easier shift to make, or how do I, like right now I am developing in this space, but I want to shift to another Indic languages because I have to keep on fine tuning based upon.
You will see in our demos today how easy it is to use our cloud and our model or an open source model of your choice.
Okay.
Right, to build for that. Now, open source models don't have Indic language. We have Indic language capabilities, and it's very easy to make the shift from any whatever infrastructure you are in to ours, even though the incumbent infrastructure providers will not make it easy for you to shift.
Yeah.
Right. So actually, the whole developer community should put pressure on them. Ya to sasta karo mal, ya to shift karne do.
But they give like.
It's a fair ask, no?
Yeah.
If they really care about the Indian developer, they should make it either cheaper or easy to shift.
Yeah. And one more question, just one, is how is it different from Sarvam AI?
See, Sarvam is a model developer,
Yeah.
right? Now, we are a more broader computing company. We will compete with them on models. And if their model is better, feel free to use it. You can host it on our cloud, up to you. But actually, our model is much better.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, so all of you now just ask your questions, tell your name, ask the question, then you remember, whatever you remember, you answer. Because there's such a lamba line.
I am not AI, okay? We are building AI, but I am not the AI. Okay, maybe somebody can help me write down the questions. Maybe somebody from my team.
Yes.
Adit, you'll help write down the questions?
Yeah, because now that you're standing, you should get a chance, all of you.
You write down and then come give it to me and I'll answer all of them together.
Huh.
Hi, Bhavesh. I am Amit. I came all the way from Rajasthan along with my partner Priyanka for attending this event. Okay, so we are building an edtech-based, AI-based edtech startup, and we are already using ChatGPT and Google Gemini, and I have already tested Krutrim AI and their SDKs and the chat, everything for integration in our platform. So one question I have for you is, like, you said that India has a very large pool of developers, like biggest pool of software developers and tech here we have. There's one more fact that we should be aware of, that India has a largest pool of scammers also here. People, scammers. So in India, entire world is getting scammed from the people of India. The phone scams, the SMS scams. So what I'm afraid of is that with the evolution of AI and with the integration of AI in day-to-day industry.
मैं आपकी बात से सहमत नहीं हूँ, ठीक है? कि India is, I don't agree.
See,
India,
you can see all the news.
I heard your
in
point.
the
You
news
will have
also.
to.
Okay, once again.
Let me respond to you,
Yes.
right? It's an open
Yes.
debate, right? No, India is not the largest in scammers. See, India is a large country, so we will have large of everything, right? हमारे पास सब कुछ बहुत बड़ा है, right? So we will, because we are the largest population in the country, in the world. But in general, you know, the Indian average businessman, average developer, average citizen is actually more value-based, more focused on rules-based than other parts of the world. So this is my perspective. But your question, how will AI impact this dynamic?
So
Right?
how we can make sure that these scammers don't use AI to leverage, these scammers don't leverage AI to actually scam people, to actually bypass the systems.
मेरा तो उसमें opinion ही अलग है ना आपसे, so इतना इस पे मैंने अभी सोचा नहीं है.
But this is the thing actually we need to think about.
The other point, no, the India is actually the biggest attacked country in digital infrastructure. You know that?
And most of the attackers are from India itself.
No, most of the attackers are not from India.
Yeah,
They are
yeah,
from,
but I also feel very bad. Like, we can't say that India is the largest number of.
But I'm going to give statistics to the gentleman.
Yes.
If I just simplify the statistics for you, most of the attackers are from China, are from the Middle East, are from Russia. Many of these use VPNs, etc., to redirect traffic. India is not the highest source of traffic, of attack vector traffic in the world. Now, there are enough scientific papers I can redirect to you if you want on this. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
thank you so much.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Shraddha. Thank you, Bhavesh. My question is around, do you
If
see
I can request you all to very quickly state your question, we are out of time. So my colleague will write down the question. Just be crisp with your questions in 10-15 seconds, state your question, and then I'll answer all of them together.
do you see a room for an ecosystem for developers who are doing their jobs but can spend their Saturdays and Sundays in a project meant for Indian development? Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's a very, very good question. This you should answer.
I will answer, yeah.
Hi, I'm Tanmay. I'm an intern. I'm 16 years old. I'm interning at Yogify. I just have one question. So I am very interested in marketing and business. That's what I want to pursue. At this age, how can I leverage AI and actually learn AI so that it can help me in my career? That's my question. Thank you.
Hey Bhavesh, hey Shraddha. This is Amitesh. I have a question like what Ola Krutrim is doing for the skill development, right? Like for the colleges, there are 40% of the students from IIT is not placed, right? It's a big question mark. We are also thinking of making larger community from AI, but we need to also think that how Krutrim AI can be a community leader in terms of AI learning and the skill development, because when we take the interviews now, people are, the most of the pass out just coming from the college, they still take a good number of time to learn and then actually start making produce. Like, because if you ask your team, even they are having a hard time to find a good AI engineers.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Bhavish. My name is Keshav. My startup name is Recursive Zero. I have a little bit question. You are saying nation first. This is a good thing. I also love my India. So I want to know how easy to reach to you to tell our story, because are you handling in the Indian way? Because Indian way of handling the things are very complex. There are too many lines, too many issues. How easy to reach to you to tell our problems and we can work on together? Because it's an Indian context. I love it. I have many things about Indian context. Just for example, give you 2 minutes, 1 minute. Like family. We have a family different name. We call Mosi and we call Bua. We don't call everyone uncle and auntie. So there is Indian context. We can create a family tree based on that one. So this is the one of the use case. So how do I reach to you to tell my problems and how fast it is easy to reach?
This one I'll answer right now, okay? So how easy to reach to me? Of all the cloud providers, I'm the only founder CEO sitting in the room.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, I reached that question. How? Thanks.
Hello, sir. My name is Harsh Agarwal, and
Your name is Bhavesh Agarwal?
Harsh Agarwal. You are a big inspiration for me, and I have one question that you already mentioned, that Sam Altman stated that no AI can come even close to ChatGPT. So what are your thoughts on that, and what do you think about AGI?
Okay, I will answer this also right now. Provocative questions I have to answer immediately, right? See, Sam Altman, there is a, we have to fight against those who think it's a white man's burden to build for us. It is not the white man's burden to build for us, right? But we will be able to fight that once we are strong enough, courageous enough to build for ourselves, right? We are not fighting against them. They should build. And today they are ahead of us. Even today, Krutrim's model is not where ChatGPT is. But अगर शुरुआत नहीं करेंगे तो आगे कैसे निकलेंगे? शुरुआत तो करनी पड़ेगी ना?
Hello, I'm Anjanelu. I'm a data scientist at Reliance Jio. The first question is, do you still think analytical thinking can compensate for a lot of compute that when you model? The second question is, will you do sort of keep competing with models? If someone releases a better model, you'll make a better model, or you'll leapfrog, you'll do blue ocean strategy rather than red ocean strategy? And give us some ideas about problem solving as to with stochasticity of models and all.
Hello Bhavesh, myself Shreyas. I came all the way from IIT Bombay to here. So my question to you...
Are you an IIT Bombay student?
Yeah, I'm a first year student. We met at ESL.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
My question to you is, are you interested in finding opportunities in AI and entertainment? Because I have my startup in Web3. It is a decentralized music ecosystem. So what do you think, at what extent Web3 adoption could be there in entertainment?
See, I'll answer your question, and till then, Adit, you can bring me the note. AI is a technology which is a horizontal technology, right? It will be adopted across industries, be it if I understood correctly, entertainment. So definitely content creation, though AI se ho hi raha hai. But if you use Midjourney, or if you use any diffusion models, or even the more recent video creation models, they don't really give you Indian content, right? They don't, अगर Indian होता है तो it's like New York Times पे कोई Indian article आया है. So it's like with a very patronizing lens, उस type का उसका outcome आता है. So we have to train our own content creation models where you actually have content which reflects our value system and our country better. That will be definitely used widely by social media creators, by movie creators, by music, by audio generation, any kind of thing. So right now we don't have a diffusion model yet, but it is definitely in our roadmap. Yeah. Thank you, Adit. Okay. So many. Okay. Well, you'll have to stay here and explain your writing to me. Okay. So, EdTech-based AI startup talent pool. I've answered this one. So, room for. This was an interesting one. See, somebody asked about ecosystem of developers, especially who can do moonlighting or things like that. Actually, I believe a very important share of work will be done in these gig-type formats. And gig doesn't mean delivery boy. Gig means anybody who's doing it part-time, right? So, absolutely, if you are a developer who is doing things in a semi-official way or in their part-time or running multiple gigs at the same time, we as a platform want to support. I don't, at the top of my mind, have any ideas on how I can specifically build products for you. But if you have any ideas and have requests, do send it out to me, and I will definitely make sure we put it in our roadmap. How to use AI to learn AI? I'll give a cheeky answer to this. You should ask AI. Okay. What is Krutrim doing for skill development in colleges? Good point. See, a lot of our focus in colleges, and see, India has a lot of colleges. We need more because we have a lot of people who need to be educated in productive skills, and engineering is an important productive skill for the economy. Now, AI can definitely be used to improve the quality of learning in all kinds of colleges. It can raise the bar for the average learning, and especially if you go into small towns, villages, वहाँ पे college तो है, but वहाँ पे teaching quality उतनी अच्छी नहीं है. Even though मेहनत सब teacher करते हैं, but they don't have the tools, they don't have the exposure. That's where AI can help. I am not building that app, but I do hope one of you developers builds that app to really reach out to college teachers, etc., to improve the quality of teaching of engineering disciplines in colleges. How easy is it to reach you? I answered this question. It's very easy. Yeah, and feel free to mail me. I do look at all the mails. Thoughts on Sam Altman, I answered. This is a good question. See, I think that's it, right? I think a question, if I just put a broader lens on your question on that analytical thinking, stochastic models, etc. See, almost all architectures of AI models, and I'm not an expert here, but I know a little bit. My team is the expert. But almost all models are largely, if I, in layman's words, say it, it's ratta laga rahe ho, right? Rote learning. The more you pump compute tops into it, the more it does an accurate ratta. Now, but there are different ways of building some kind of reasoning into it. Our Krutrim model in the last 2-3 months, we have built some kind of a reasoning architecture into it. You can build multiple parallel models which each reason with each other and kind of figure out the best answer. There are multiple research domains in this broader direction. We are doing our own research, and we definitely want to be at the cutting edge as this field of reasoning models as well as higher accuracy models evolves. But today the models are what they are. They are all the transformer-based architectures are largely rote learning.
Bhavish, I have a question to ask that. Are you going after this?
I will stay
No, 10 minutes you have to stay because for the pitch fest, startups have come only to meet you.
I will stay.
अभी ऐसे आके ऐसे मनहूस.
But very smart, Shraddha. सबके सामने आपने मुझसे पूछ के, now I can't even go. They will not let me go.
10 minutes.
I will be here.
They have flown from all over the country
No,
for 10 minutes.
I will 100% be here.
Yeah.
I want to meet them. I have come here for them.
Yes. Okay, done. ऐसे otherwise ऐसे आके stress दे रहा है.
दोस्त हो तो ऐसा.
No. So now with this, I think we all of you, please, let's take a selfie with him, and then we all have a Dev Sparks moment. I would love that.
Would you guys like that?
Yeah.
Shall we do a selfie?
Yeah, come.
Okay, come Shraddha. We'll do a selfie.
What a picture perfect moment, and thank you Bhavish for your confidence, your resilience and your optimism. I think the energy levels in this room have just skyrocketed after that session. A big round of applause everyone for Bhavish Agarwal, the inspiration to all of us today, and of course to Shraddha Sharma as well. What an empowering session indeed. And the excitement just continues. It is now time for a product launch that you heard a little bit about already that has generated plenty of excitement, one that is exclusively designed to empower Indian developers to build world-class products at a fraction of the cost. For the first time ever, unveiling Krutrim AI Stack for developers. A big round of applause. May I request Mr. Gautam Bhargava, Head of AI Engineering Krutrim, Chandra Khatri, Head of Applied AI Krutrim, Vipul Shah, Head of Product Krutrim, Raghuraman Bharatalwar, Head of Systems and Software Engineering Krutrim, Navendu Agarwal, Group CIO Ola, Sambhi Sahu, Head of Silicon Design Krutrim, Prasad Kavuri, Head of Ola Maps, Nikhil Nautiyal, Senior Director of Product Ola, and Ravi Jain, Head of Strategy at Krutrim, to please join us on stage to tell us a little bit more about this exciting product. A big round of applause. This is the product launch we've all been waiting for today, and have also heard a little bit about in that very empowering suggestion before.
Can you hear me all right? Great. Thank you. So Krutrim will power the developer ecosystem. You heard from Bhavish, and the source of power and energy for our team is who you saw here. Bhavish's inspiration and energy is what is making us move. I'll just use some of the time to recap the vision of what we are building, how we are thinking about it. And just to start with, the estimates may vary from 5 million to 15 million, but India is home for one of the biggest populations of developers. But if you contrast it with the number of tech product startups that we see from India, it's very low compared to the developed world. And there may be various reasons for it. If we look at some of the reasons, right, the possible reasons, and I'm sure in your individual experiences as an entrepreneur, as a developer, and aspiring startup, you would have faced this. There are three major problems One is all development, design, and deployment happens on global providers, global platforms. These platforms are very expensive. Second, even if you want to build on these platforms, if you are building for an Indian use case, it is very difficult to find India-specific services. And these are the challenges that each one of you would have experienced. But if you contrast, today is the time, like Bhavesh was alluding to, that we have abundant talent. We are one of the biggest developer community as a country. We have no dearth of capital, right? Capital is flowing into the country. The world looks up to India. There is a lot of untapped opportunity here amongst, for us. And if you look at the timing is great. We are seeing a convergence of various new age technologies, and like Bhavesh alluded to, when a new technology convergence happens, that's the right opportunity to start up. We are seeing AI, robotics, cloud, all of these technologies coming in, and this is the perfect time for the Indian developers to innovate from India, for India, and for the world. Our vision, therefore, is to supercharge the developer-led innovation ecosystem in India. Every developer should be able to create a new business solution product very easily and at a price point which is affordable, which is in line with what an Indian end user or enterprise will pay. And our belief is that this can be done in a very fresh way. We can bring in new age technologies, low-code compute platform at a cost which is industry leading, and these becomes the source of differentiation for the development that you do on our platform. There are various pillars for of how the developer ecosystem can be enabled. The first is the models itself. Can we create a family of models across modalities which are seeped in Indian data, which is made for India? So that is the first thing that we are trying to solve here. The second is the cloud itself. Can we create a cloud AI first in a very fresh way, which is the India AI first cloud? Once you have the cloud, you will also need very specific platform services. These are over and beyond the infrastructure layer and the platform layer. You will need services which are truly Indian in nature. We'll give you a glimpse of some of those, but that is another key pillar which will enable the developer ecosystem. And finally, at a cost which makes it possible for you to create end use cases. For example, for a farmer, for a teacher in Tier 3 India, cost is a big lever for us. We are unveiling parts of all of these to you. You will be able to do a lot of things from today onwards. And to take this forward, I will invite Gautam Bhargav. He is VP of AI Engineering, who will take us through the first component, which is the foundational models.
Thank you, Ravi. A good afternoon. It's a sea of developers, and this is, as Bhavesh alluded to, we're building for. So it is exciting to be here. It is my honor and privilege to talk about the foundational models we're building. Bhavesh gave a great analogy about the soul. This is the soul of the AI machine, and let me talk in a few minutes about this. So this is the state of AI models today. If you look at them, they're trained predominantly on Roman, Latin languages. If you are lucky, they'll throw in some Cyrillic, but that's all they do. And they lack the contextual understanding of Indian language and culture that you need. We're building for India. We're building for the Indian ecosystem. We're building for Indian developers. We're building for Indian businesses. We need to understand what makes an Indian language model and how it works with our languages and culture. So look at and then you could say, well, why don't you fine-tune a model? And there are other startups in India which are fine-tuning Llama and Mistral and Gemma. But then you can do that, but you don't get the real ethos of an Indian model. You don't get it to be natively Indian, and that's what we're trying to do with the businesses we have and what we want to build. So let's go next to see what we are building at Krutrim. So Krutrim's India-focused LLMs for developers. These are foundational models. These are large language models. As you heard Bhavesh and Ravi talk, they support Indian languages. We have announced support for 11. We'll soon be getting to 22, and then there's hundreds of other dialects we want to address. These models that we built, it's a family of models we have, so that's why I use the word these. These models understand cultural, religious, and political sensibilities. It is what it is meant to be respectful in India, may be so very different from what it is to be respectful in the West. Our cultural sensibilities are different, and we want to do that. And then as a developer, you ask, well, that's great. What do I do with them? So this is where we come in and say we have APIs and SDKs, which will make this happen. I heard a question from someone to Bhavesh that, how do I move away from OpenAI? Well, our APIs are compatible with OpenAI, so it's very simple to move over anytime you want, and we'll be talking about that soon in the later presentations. And then, you just don't want generative AI that it writes an essay. You want it to do stuff for you. You want to have what is commonly now known as agentic architecture, and this is not a collection of tools that you've knitted together in Java or C++ code. This is the AI deciding what action should it take to accomplish a task for you, just like what your personal assistant would do for you. So this is natively built into our LLMs. We have support for agentic workflows and architectures. And then let me talk a little bit about how we build these, why we build these. These were pre-trained from scratch. We did not want to take a fine-tuned model and put a layer of paint on it and call it Indian. We wanted to do it from scratch. As Bhavesh mentioned, it's a relatively small model, the first one we have, but it's pre-trained on over 2 trillion tokens. And this breaks all the scaling laws, the chinchilla scaling laws that you AI developers know. We just went way past it. And then we weren't done then. We have to do supervised fine-tuning and instruction fine-tuning to make these models usable. When you create an AI model, it is like a block of wood, but then how do you make a beautiful carving out of it? That's what SFT and IFT does on these models. Then you have to make it behave properly. So you do something called DPO, or direct preference optimization, to make these models align with the behavior and sensibilities you want. And then these models, if you look at some of the well-known models, they say, well, my knowledge ends in October of 2021 or 2022 or 2023, whatever. But you want to know what happened in the cricket match last night. You don't want to go to a different place to find that out. You want your LLM to be able to do that. So we know we have invested hugely in pipelines for what is commonly known as WebRAG. We can get you the most recent information, and we can write an essay for you based on the models we do. And then finally, it's about cost. We may have great models, we may have great learning in them, but can I infer them in a cost-effective manner? All of you are developers who want to create solutions. You are so conscious of what it costs to do that. And that's why our models are optimized for inference and deployment. And this is not something we picked off the shelf. We had to write custom code to make our models be optimized for inference. Then a lot of us has asked, well, how good are these models? Can you show us the data? Yes, here's the data. We're also writing a tech report. There'll be a blog. These are some of the popular benchmarks, and unfortunately, some of these colors don't show. But here are some of the numbers we have, and we have a tech report. So these are on the well-known benchmarks in English, and then there's this empty bench, which is to see how good is your model at doing multi-turn conversations, which is what the essence of it is. You don't just want to ask one question and be done. You want to have a conversation. And this shows the evolution of our model, how we went from one to the other, and it compares with Llama 7B. We still have a little work to do on this particular benchmark, but we're making great progress. And the thing to remember is we announced it in December. We launched our first chat application in late February, and it's early May. We haven't sat still. We have been working on a bunch of optimizations and a bunch of new models, all in the Krutrim family, and that's what every time you use the Krutrim apps, you say, well, it behaves better now. So that's the work we do every day to make it happen. You also want to know how it compares with on Indic benchmarks. I don't think I can see the colors. Maybe you can see the light gray. We should have chosen a better color. But there's a comparison of GPT 3.5 and Krutrim on Indic Extreme benchmarks. And we don't win all of them, but I think we win 5 of the 6. So we're doing really well on Indic languages, and this is what our focus is, and this is what the developers in this room and in this country and in this community want to develop for. So, and we can share these numbers in our tech report and on our website. And we're not done. So Bhavesh mentioned that we're working on a lot of other new things. We're creating state-of-the-art models to serve the needs of Indian businesses. You know, first is speech. In our country, a lot of people interact with their computing machinery through speech. We want to do ASR and TTS, especially for Indian dialects. You know, there's over 100 of those. We are working on image and multimodal models, which are India-specific. When I ask for a person praying, I don't want to necessarily see them wearing Western clothes and praying in a Western setting. And the final thing, which is very important, is cost-efficient inference. And one of the ways you do cost-efficient inference is what is commonly known as a mixture of experts, where the model has a large corpus of knowledge, but when you do inference on it or you run a query on it, it works on a subset of the parameters and does a very efficient job. So these are all things we will be developing and releasing very soon. This is the Krutrim family of models. We have started one place, we've done a bunch of those already, and there's a whole lot to come. Good news here, we released an Android app for Krutrim. It's out there, it's in the Google Play Store. You can download it. And you know, this is the card for it. So we're very excited about it. It's brand new, fresh off the press. And what's coming next? We have the iOS app coming, and then we have the Krutrim Python SDK, which is almost ready to go. So all the developers in this room who are wondering, hey, this is great, but how do I use it? We have the answers for you. It's a very exciting time for us, a big journey for us from the first model to the family of models to what's coming in state-of-the-art models in other modalities. And then you may be wondering, this is great, how do I use it? For that, I have someone else who will come and answer that. I'm going to ask Vipul Shah, who's the VP of Product, and Raghu Bharat-Talwar, who's the VP of Cloud Engineering, to tell us all how do we actually get to use these wonderful models on the Krutrim Cloud.
Thank you so much, Gautam. All right. So, hi. I'm really excited to be here on the stage with Raghu to really talk more about Krutrim Cloud. And, you know, I heard a lot of questions, so hopefully we'll be able to answer those here. All right. So, you know, you all use cloud today, all right? Let's just call it Cloud 1.0, right? So, Cloud 1.0, let's set the context first. It is really, it delivers on quite a few of the promises, right? Cloud 1.0, you are able to, it's on demand, so you can ask for infrastructure services, you can ask for platform services, you get those services, it's on demand, right? It also is good in terms of SLAs, you know, it's got service level agreements, availability, reliability, those things are there. It also does a good job of scalability, as well as, you know, improving the levels of abstractions. You can get all the choices, you know, your abstraction levels can be low or high. It delivers on that promise. However, there are a lot of challenges too. The first and foremost, and I don't know how many of you notice it, but it is very complex. Cloud 1.0 have been built over a period of time, and there is a legacy of a lot of different services. In fact, many a times, you might see multiple services have an overlap. Do you pick this service? Do you pick that service? Not only that, there's a lot of complexity. Each service has a lot of configuration. You combine all of that, and what you have is a very complex set of stacks and services that you need to manage. So that's one problem. Because of that, it's also very hard to know your deployment architecture. I don't know how many of you wake up and, you know, one day morning you see a sprawl of all the various services that you're consuming. There is no topology. You cannot go and see, hey, this architecture looks like this. If I need to go and make a change, I need to make a small change there, a small change here. It is also very hard for you to know the attack surface. How do you know what's your security posture? What are your security configurations? How do you know what you need to fix? Those are still the challenges. Then on top of that, it needs a lot of upkeep, right? Upkeep in the sense you have to monitor continuously. I meet so many customers who have dashboards and they're proud of it. There are hundreds of dashboards. That's a very laborious manual process that is fraught with risks and errors, right? So continuously you have to monitor for scale, usage, performance, security, everything. And then last but not the least, clouds are expensive, right? Bhavish talked about it. They're very expensive to begin with. And then on top of it, resource underutilization, or call it resource wastage. Everybody does it, right? Everybody does it. So the point is, your costs keep adding up. They're expensive to begin with, and then more wastage means more costs on top of that. So what's the opportunity for us? AI is really revolutionary. And it is such an important thing. You know, again, Bhavish talked about it, right? We need to rethink. It gives you, it's a mindset change. You need to rethink everything. So at Ola Krutrim, we really think about AI first. Anything that we want to build and anything that you want to build, you really should be thinking about AI first. So what does that mean? What are the tenets? First and foremost, data. It's learning using data, AI at the very core. So everything that we develop, everything that we develop at Krutrim, we think of AI at the core, right? You get so much of data. Cloud emits data at an enormous speed. A lot of that data is captured. I don't know if it's ever utilized. So why let it go waste? Use it for continuous learning. Second thing is AI. I mean, people know about agents, assistants. You know, think of cloud as an architect. It's an assistant architect. Cloud knows a lot about you. It can know a lot about you. It can be personal. It can know over a period of time what you're trying to build. It can give you suggestions. It can offer you trade-offs. If you pick this option, it is better, but here are the trade-offs. Other option has different trade-offs, right? You pick. But it's an architect persona that AI can enable for you. And then on top of it, I mean, a lot of people talked about coding, how the coding levels, you know, the skills would get a bit diluted because it is intelligent. It can tell you, hey, based on what you need, here is the code, here is the best practices. Should I implement it for you? Push a button, it'll implement it. And then, of course, I talked about resource wastage. There is no need to have hundreds of dashboards. Clouds can monitor themselves, right? We have AI. AI can be utilized to reduce wastage, to improve efficiency, and to reduce costs. And last and not the least, why not engage with the product in natural language and speech, right? Why do you need to have, you know, very complicated, you know, product, documentation, coding, and all that? I mean, you can actually ask what you need, you can speak to it, and it should be able to help you. So, at Krutrim, we take AI first approach to everything. We are rethinking cloud. We are rethinking every layer of the cloud. First and foremost, every layer, every service will be AI optimized, right? What it means is a very vertically integrated set of services to serve the use cases at the very top, right? That's really what it means. And I'm going to show you a cloud stack picture later, and you'll see how everything builds up on top. And then, not only that, think about an autopilot that can help you with the best architecture, the best practices, and the best security. On top of that, we want to price it such that it is democratized for all, right? It should be something that you can actually build on top. It is at a price that actually, you know, works for you, and that it is very efficient in multiple ways. I mean, the short way of saying is that there is no need to have a legacy burden. You don't need to bear that burden. User experience has to be very, very simple. So user experience is one thing we take very seriously at Ola Krutrim. It needs to be simple, and it needs to be able to understand you, or you need to be able to interact with it based on natural language and speech. And last but not the least, very, very important element, Indian context, right? It will have enough context built in all the different services that's going to be offered in the cloud. So, what's our approach? It's a vertically integrated full stack. At the very bottom, we are making purpose-built, AI-built silicon and compute. And not only that, we are building it in a way that is a sustainable data center, right? So that's at the very bottom. Then the middle layer is all the cloud services. People asked IaaS, PaaS, it's all of the above. All of the software services that you need to operate and to really utilize the cloud. And then on top of it are the family of models, both the models that we're building, Gautam talked about it, as well as open source models and any other models that we can provide. So that's the full stack. That's really what we are building. The way we are building it, okay, this will give you more details, and this is very important because you're all developers. You care about the details. So at the very bottom is AI-optimized data centers that are sustainable. I have 2 videos I'm going to show because picture is always worth 1,000 words, and we'll talk about it, right? Then the layer above that is AI-optimized infrastructure as a service. This includes all of the typical infrastructure capabilities like storage, compute, GPU, network, load balancer, security, all of those. On top of that is AI-optimized PaaS, platform as services. These are your traditional services, but AI-optimized to serve the use cases on the top. So you're really talking about cloud-native applications, serverless applications, data streaming, databases, all of those. And then, of course, we are here to build AI, which is not just one technology, but a set of technologies. So MLOps, platforms for MLOps, platform for model inferencing, not one, but a set of components that work together to really infer models, RAG platforms, as well as agent platforms. And then, of course, all of those will be using a bunch of LLMs, both Krutrim LLMs, as well as open source LLMs, right? So that is the full picture, all vertically integrated, purpose-built with AI first, thinking at the core, right, at each layer. So let's start with the bottom layer. Let's start with going deeper into what we are doing at the infrastructure or the hardware layer. So over multiple years, power consumption has been going up and up and up. Over the next 10 years, the expectation is that the average power consumption is going to triple, right? And so basically the way the GPUs are hungry for power, it is really not, we cannot use current techniques. We cannot use air cooling, for example. We need very specific set of technologies that can really help take care of the consumption and the heat. So basically there are new ways of doing cooling. Those new ways are using liquid. There is liquid immersion, and there's direct-to-chip cooling. So what I'm going to do is talk to you about that. And let me share a couple of videos. All right. Thank you. That is an example of completely indigenous innovation. And what you saw is complete liquid immersion cooling where all the components, not just the chip, but all of the components were immersed in the liquid, right? That is very novel. And in fact, Krutrim team has made more progress. I think we are on the 3rd phase of our journey. So we made quite a bit of progress there. All right, I'm going to show you another video. Cool. Thank you. That is yet another example of indigenous effort. And that is, so depending on the use cases, in some case we need one way of cooling, the other cases we need other. But the point is we're working on all of these to build the best data centers here in India. And with that, I want to transition to Raghu. Hey, thanks.
Again, it's a lunchtime, and maybe you're all hungry, and my colleagues have given me the best announcement to make you all to feed your hunger. So I'll be announcing some services, what from today you can make use of it. with that. So we are bringing first from Krutrim Cloud, the GPU as a service. This is where you can host your models, you can train the models, fine-tune your models, and inference the models. And we give you the full performance GPU in the sustainable energy, in a friendly way to use it. And I'll show you some of the developer community how that can so easily to do with the pre-packaged software that comes part of the GPU. So that's our first service going live today. Followed by, we are also hosting model as a service, which is part of the model hosting on our PaaS platform, which will be hosting open source models and our own Krutrim model that differentiates from the open source model. And we leave the choice for you to make. And to make the choice easy, we are also built a compare platform that allows you to compare all this model, and you can choose which model to program against. And we have built tools for you to program with maybe 2 lines or 1 line of a code change, and we will walk you through in that demo as well how easy is that. And we deployed this, by the way, as a couple of days back. One of the developers was able to build it in 2 days, email service application. Okay. So the third one is a third service. We are enabling a location services enablement in our Krutrim Cloud, and that's also going live today. It will be available for you to use. So with that, first is the GPU as a service, which pretty much takes the raw infrastructure, which is the data center with the liquid cooling and immersion cooling, which you saw today, and that we host it part of the software to expose the GPU, and this is our data center live video. So with that data center, what the infrastructure service we call, how that exposes the GPU as a software-friendly way to the developers, and this video will help you how to do that and how easy to adopt that.
Here, the user has successfully logged into the GPU instance. They've crafted a setup script that sets up Python, establishes a virtual environment, installs TorchTune for fine-tuning, and WAN-B for metric logging. Additionally, it creates a directory to download the Llama 3.8 billion model weights.
So here the developer has tried the 7 billion model that is tried here.
The model weights are now downloaded. The user has created a TorchTune configuration file to fine-tune the Llama 3.8 billion model with the Alpaca dataset. Let's start the fine-tuning.
So now we are tuning the model now.
The fine-tuning will take a long time to complete. So let's meet on the other side.
So now the fine-tuning is over.
The fine-tuning is now complete. Let's try out our model. We ask some interesting facts about India to the fine-tuned model. The response is indeed fascinating.
So I think this service is available with the preloaded software, and this model is useful for developers who know how to program at a kernel level or changing the framework, and you want to change the API. So all levels we are exposing the APIs for you to use the high performance of the GPUs. So that is a service more for developers to interrupt at every level of the APIs that you can imagine to do on. The second one we are launching is the model as a service. This is the platform where you can choose models to play and choose which model to you code against for your application. And this is a playground that allows you to choose. And these are the models. It's available right now, and we'll be building more models in this playground.
In our Krutrim Cloud Console, there would be a playground application for users to be able to compare different hosted models. In this application, users can choose any hosted model, configure parameters like temperature, top P, max tokens, stop sequence, etc. With these models and configuration choices, users can compare responses from different models for their prompts. Based on responses for different kind of prompts, users can choose the right model and configuration parameters for their use cases in their applications.
So that's the model. We are hosting 2 open source model and our Krutrim model. You can choose of a language what you want to query against. And this helps the developer to pick which model you want to query against. And the last part, okay, so before that, so today this is the best part of the announcement. We are announcing a partnership of developers to join with us who has an innovation to change the journey for India. So we are announcing 1,000 developers who will get 10,000 rupees of worth Krutrim Cloud credits, so that it's, you register. We understand, as I come from the developer community and I was part of an entrepreneurship, to kickstart, it's very much needed. This compute is needed to trigger your innovation on the compute, and we understand that, and we are offering this service as a credits for you. And this is the best part. And please, whoever has that innovation, please register. Krutrim Cloud is live today, and go ahead and register, and we'll be in touch with you to start the partnership today onwards. The second, so this is the big winners. So we have a pitch fest. Bhavesh already going to select the winners there. And who are the winners in the pitch fest? They will get 10 lakh worth of Krutrim Cloud credits for each startup. I wish I have the opportunity to be part of it, but we'll be in the other side that I'll help you to make your dream come true. So again, bad to go as you get out of this room. olakrutrim.com, developers, all 3 services, the gate to entry is there. Please grab it, register, and the other side will grab you and take the partnership to the next level. So with that, I want to bring Prasad, who will walk us through the 3rd service, which is the location services and how is unique.
Thanks, Raghu. Thanks, Vipul. Location services. So why is location important? Everything we do today is location tied. So when you explore a place, where you want to look at information about a place, or where you want to route, so everything is tied to location. Important thing is having a service on cloud is basically the lifeblood, which makes the development easy, which is critical. That is what we are going to be powered through our Krutrim Cloud as part of this announcement. So we'll go forward. So the big challenges today in the location services are 3 things. What we observed is the accuracy and coverage. So when you look at the entire pan-India, so we have tiered-based cities where the data accuracy may be low or the freshness could be low. And the biggest other important thing is complex integration. What we observed is, like, when you think of integrating SDKs or APIs directly, the development lead time is very high. And most importantly, the 3rd piece, which all of the speakers have already highlighted, is today is the APIs cost. So the cost of APIs is huge, but most importantly, is it affordable or continue our development and build some cool apps across. So this is very critical for us to enable location services integration. So key consideration when you think of location services, there are a few things we thought of it when we are building across for India Stack. One is wide coverage. So the impact of coverage across India, but also the richness and also the reliable sources. Do you acquire the source or you collect the source? That's critical, which is very unique to our own platform. And the freshness is key. As an example, like, was there a road existing yesterday, POI existing? It still exists. So we get continuous signals to understand that there is a freshness component still continuing to work through. And the real time, so the real time is an important piece which helps us to plan our life better, whether it's with routing or traffic, which saves a lot of time. Time is money, and then you can spend the time across your family. And then finally, the accurate ETA. So this is an important component because not just for our own personal life, but for any other logistical planning or general wellness of the traffic in the city or any other business planning, accurate ETA is very critical for us. So these are some of the considerations we looked at it. And when you look at the assets, today Ola Maps is powered by Krutrim Cloud. So we have in our own family, Ola Consumer, 14 million active users, as you can look. And the key point on the last is 4 billion signals a day. So this is very important for us through our consumer, but also we have the leading electric platform where we get near real-time signals from those, which will help us to not only improve our coverage, but also make sure that we have our freshness indicator to the best of our places too, 24 million plus we have places, and finally the connected vehicles. So these are very important for location. When you think of a map, so there are two important things they think across the globe is, one is coverage, second thing is freshness. So in India, the challenges are very different than the global as you think of our layouts, roads, and other aspects. So our platform will help us to achieve this when you think of two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler access and those aspects. So moving forward, so you may be wondering who is using Ola Maps today. So I can tell you with confidence that there are two big customers. One is Ola consumer platform where our ride-hailing business and also our logistical business, all those use Ola Maps today. And also our electric scooters, as you can see on the right, also have been integrated, and 100% they use Ola Maps. And moving over, so what we want to do today is talk about the location stack. Now we have been using this for a while internally to support our consumers, but also we want to take this location services which are very rich in assets to be able to be explored outside. So what do you have in the location stack? Fundamentally talking of tiles, which is your representation of vector tiles, and most importantly the routing, which is critical in our day-to-day business when I think of directions or near real time, traffic rerouting, dynamic, but most importantly turn-by-turn directions too. The third is every day we use is search. You search for a coffee shop, you search for a temple or different things. So the search experience, highly accurate, autocomplete, and then reverse geocoding. And also you can do searches by category, obviously by different things, like for example, a clothing shop. What are the nearest clothing shops at my place? And finally, we are also releasing SDKs, 2 SDKs. We want to make sure that we have few people who can integrate the libraries. So we have both iOS and Android SDK as part of the release. We are going to make that available today. What's new? So you can think of, we talked a little bit about challenges around, like in the starting, we talked about why is it so hard for us to integrate. So we want to make sure that we show a differentiation. Some of these are here. So we have, like we will later in the day, people can join in our workshop. We'll show sample applications, how easily you can integrate our SDKs and build and sample app. So thinking of ease of use and better performance, that's we'll demo today, and then faster development. We have some built-in UIs with our expertise with some of our wide range of clients. We have made this available. And then also any non-Ola Map services obviously can also integrate, but the customization is also there for us. When you think of different profiles like two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, we have some customizations we have enabled for some of the fleet and logistic use cases. So that's basically a differentiation. And finally, I am super excited to announce that we are live today. So people can actually sign up and then get, I can even share 1 month of worth of free. So that amount we'd already published in our site, 300,000 worth of service calls across all the location service which I've shown. So you can feel free to sign up and then play with it. Today we'll demo all the integration later in the workshop. And finally, again, go to the same place and then you can find all the related assets and continue from there. So please join us later. Thank you for the time. So I'll invite Sambit, who is our SVP for hardware engineering, and Raghu, who is VP of our software engineering. So they both are co-leading a team who are building our indigenous silicon tech, which is powering our Krutrim Lake. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I and Raghu, we will go to the AI silicon. So all those wonderful things that you saw, it really needs good silicon. And the good news is that we are building that silicon. We are really building some, thank you. We are really building some cutting edge AI server products using the most advanced technologies. But the big thing is that we will do at a cost structure that is palatable to India, not at the cost structure of the West. So that's our objective. So what are some of the thoughts that have gone in that to build our own AI server. So, few things. One is you're quite familiar with the business value proposition, the generative AI, which I believe is the biggest revolution that is happening in our lifetime. It has a huge business potential, 7 trillion addition to the global GDP. Even in India, the demand is quite big. It's around $500 million in the next few years. And do realize that the penetration of the whole AI is very low in India. So really big value proposition. The models, I would say, are at its infancy right now. There is a huge potential for model improvements, 1 trillion parameter model going to 10 trillion, text-based model going to multimodal, and so on and so on. Okay? And then this whole vertical integration is becoming important. A lot of AI companies struggled because they were looking at silos. They were looking at hardware, software separately. So we doing the whole end-to-end stack, we can optimize every piece of the stack, including the silicon design. And the critical factors, as we all know, the cost is a very critical factor. We really have to do at a fraction of the cost that you buy today. And power, these are all very power-hungry devices. So whatever we can do to optimize power, thermal, that's going to be very important. And time to market. The AI compute demand is doubling every 3 months. So time to market, really how we increase the compute is very critical. And AI is everywhere. I mean, we start with the server, but it will get into edge, it will get into device, automotive. So we have to be mindful of that how this entire set of devices, entire set of products work seamlessly with one another. And last but not the least, we have to protect India. We have to make sure that India is immune to any geopolitical restrictions or any geostrategies, and also protect our data. Data sovereignty, data locality are important. So, great challenges, great opportunities, and we are not afraid to embark on this opportunity. That's what our goal is. So, what are we building? So, we are pretty much building end-to-end of the whole silicon. We are building a lot of IPs. The 2 critical IPs that we are building is the AI IP, and we are trying to do it in a very cost-efficient and a power-efficient way. And then we are building a scale-out IP so that we can cluster many of these and cluster many of these servers to get into a supercomputer type of infrastructure. Then once we have the IPs, we're also building chiplets out of these IPs. Chiplets are basically small pieces of silicon, and as we know, these silicon can be pretty big, and they really they exceed the reticle limits of silicon manufacturing. So we have to break them down into smaller pieces, and so that we can pack a lot more of these chiplets into a socket. So we are building IP, we are building chiplets, and then we are assembling all these chiplets in a package using some of these advanced packaging technologies, 2.5D packaging, 3D packaging. All these advanced technologies is what we're going to use to build these packages. And then we'll also build our boards, platform, chassis, very optimized for cost, power, and thermal. And then we can scale up with many of these to racks and ultimately a supercomputer. And in parallel, we're also building the software stack that will enable, that will utilize these chips and enable these chips to be used seamlessly. So this is our long-term vision. We are putting in all the knobs and whistles so that the servers can be used to build an exaflop supercomputer. And we are lots of innovation going in every aspect of it at an IP level, at a platform level, at a chassis level, at a software level. And you saw some cool videos in immersion cooling, direct liquid cooling, lots and lots of innovations going to build the chip as well as to enable clusters to be built and ultimately build a supercomputer. So I'll hand over to my colleague Raghu to talk about the software piece.
Yeah, thanks Sampit, and thank you. So one of the biggest, toughest challenges, in building an AI technology software that binds to all the layer of the full stack and make it available to the developer. And we are taking in a two-step approach. You would have seen we are building the full stack of the cloud stack on top of the third-party hardware or our partner hardware. And our mission is to use the same cloud stack. That means the interfaces you are using today will be seamlessly working as our own new silicon that comes in the journey. So that we are offering with the full software stack. That means the developer that you see in the left side, they can interface at each level of the interface of the API, all the way from the bare metal, where you can directly code the hardware, at the infrastructure level, at the platform level, at the software as a service. So the AI workload, cloud services, these are all hosted in each layer. And we do this full vertical integration. So if you're wondering how Krutrim Cloud is going to compete with this super cloud providers, this vertical stack will give us how to utilize the low power, low cost, and by not compromising the performance and giving the best user experience. And we are visioning this stack, and we are going to build this. And most of the portion of the stack will be working on the partner hardwares going today. So the vertical integration, if you're wondering what it drives, right? What is the strategy behind how does that going to do low power, low cost, maximize the performance and ease of use? If you go from the thing, our strategy is to maximize the hardware utilization. So if you throttle the hardware to the full utilization, we get the full utilization of it, because that we can reduce the cost of it. So we are building efficient placement and execution of the compute, how to distribute across the process elements. That means the cores that is inside the silicon. We are building the algorithms that efficiently uses and high performance on each of the core elements within the chip. Then we are going to expose the bare metal APIs for your custom models. If you are building your own custom model that needs a custom kernels, we'll be exposing that interface to you. And then obviously we will be supporting all the frameworks that are available in the open source and popular frameworks that will be ported to our hardware through our MLOps pass layer and the model zoo. And then to train the vision for trillions of parameters of a model, we are building our own IP, scale out IP. Through that, we are going to scale close to 10+K of nodes with node failure recovery and all the technologies we are building, so that efficiently you can train your models, which are huge models, and our silicon will be built to serve that. So with that, we just got one more good thing to show as a video. All these layers today, we are running in our silicon virtual prototype. This is our own design of a hardware that we are emulating in a software, where we'll see the full stack running. End-to-end, the use cases is getting run on the virtual prototype. That means our designs are already proven in the software virtual prototype. And all the above layers is from the cloud stack that you have seen in the Krutrim Cloud. With that, we can play the video.
AI application on RISC-V cluster. The RISC-V ISA is gaining traction in academia and industry due to its cost-effective, low-power design. It enables innovative applications and positions itself as the future of processing, offering customizable solutions for AI hardware development. AI software stacks, including frameworks, have been successfully ported to RISC-V. In this demo, we showcase view inference and training of neural network applications on RISC-V. Image classification. In this inference, cat and candle picture is given sequentially as input to ResNet 18 model, offloaded to RISC-V cluster, and inferred accordingly. Image captioning. Using the GPT-2 model, demonstrate image captioning by inputting an image, which results in the caption. A train on the tracks near the building. Model training. Demonstrating the training of the ResNet 18 model with the Safar dataset, showcasing load distribution across multiple cores using Grafana. Additionally, utilizing the weights and biases tools for effective tracking and monitoring the training process for fine-tuning it. Thank you.
Yeah, this is
AI application on RISC-V cluster.
Yeah, so this is 3 of the use cases that is full stack running in our hardware emulated using a software platform. So this shows the first journey as we reach the end state of what Sambit called about visioning, building the next India's own AI silicon. Thank you.
Thank you so very much to the entire team of Ola Krutrim. Again, I would like to thank each and every one member of the team, Mr. Gautam Bhargava, Head of AI Engineering, Ola Krutrim, Chandra Khatri, VP Applied AI, Ola Krutrim, Vipul Shah, Head of Product, Ola Krutrim, Raghuraman Baratalwar, Head of Systems and Software Engineering, Ola Krutrim, Navendru Agarwal, Group CIO, Ola, Shambit Sahu, VP Silicon Design, Ola Krutrim, Prasad Kavuri, Head of Ola Maps, Nikhil Nautiyal, Senior Director of Product, Ola, and Ravi Jain, Head of Strategy, Ola Krutrim. Thank you so much to each and every one of you gentlemen for being a part of today. It was certainly a very, very, very enlightening presentation. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to our audience as well for paying such close attention. A little announcement for all of you in the audience at the moment. We also have several master classes going on. So if you'd like to actually explore those master classes, and trust me, they're worth your